I'm going to give you a brief overview of the Justice Tech prosecution solution. So in order to implement a paperless prosecution solution, there are three primary key information pieces that we need to manage, and that's our process, which is what I have up here as being a workflow solution. There's the content, which is like your paper case file, electronic case file, and then there's the data. So it's process, content, and data. And I'm going to go dive into each one of these. Process, with a paper case file, most of the process knowledge is in the person's head, okay? And that presents a challenge for onboarding new employees, attrition, and things of that nature. What we've done here is we've packaged all the process knowledge into this solution for screening requests. I'm going to go down the list here, electronic discovery. And so we've packaged this so we're getting all that process knowledge and institutionalizing it into the system itself. So there's going to be consistency, and we're going to be standardizing the process. How this has worked, this productizing it, is with Lenawee County. It was a one-day discovery for on-site discovery for Lenawee County Prosecutor's Office to implement this solution. So because we've productized all the processes for the prosecution solution, we're able to dramatically reduce the number of services to implement this solution. So that's workflow. For the electronic case file, this is really the core part of the solution, where you're modeling every single document that comes into the office in our document catalog. So all those, everything has got a home within the catalog, all the foldering, the security, the way that you search the documents, the different groups, like if you have a probation type department that wants to look at in a window of your electronic case file, it's all modeled within this solution. So it's process, content, and then the case management system. There's really a variety of different case management systems that we integrate with. In Michigan, it's primarily the state system, the PAC, PAM, ACT, JCT system, where we're exchanging information, minimizing redundant data entry. We're pulling documents out of the system out of it, so that documents automatically get routed and moved into the electronic case file, as well as the case management systems on the court side to be able to pull the court calendar into the workflow. So, and then we've got some Justice Tech components that wrap around this solution, and that's primarily, there's a number of them, but True Filing Leap, that's our electronic filing system that allows law enforcement agencies to electronically communicate with the prosecutor's office. So there's True Filing up top. We've got a number of different ways of integrating with the records management system. That's the police RMS system. We've got fully integrated, where the law enforcement agency, they don't need to leave their RMS system in order to communicate with the prosecutor's office. And then we've got the non-integrated version, where they would log into a secured portal, True Filing portal, to communicate with the prosecutor's office. All this communication is normalized, where the initial request comes in with supporting documents, evidence to the prosecutor's office. They've got a standard set of workflows used to screen those requests and to prosecute cases. It integrates, it pushes data to and from the state case management system, ACT, JCT, as well as it retrieves court docket events from the CMS. There's also document exchange here, notices, disposition, things of that nature coming from the court case management system. So that's the basic architecture. It supports complete bidirectional communication with law enforcement, between law enforcement and the prosecutor's office. So the product goals are to support both small and large offices. So what we implemented at Lenawee County, we believe is going to work well at Macomb County. it's going to scale for both of those size offices. It's going to be quickly deployed, like what we did at Lenawee County. It's going to support upgrades. So as the solution evolves, we're going to be able to upgrade the solution easily. It's going to be scalable out to the courts. So not just between law enforcement and the prosecutor's office, but out to district court and circuit courts as well. Standard documentation, training, user manuals, administrative, and then there's the ability to either have an on-base or an on-premise type solution, or actually have it hosted. So you don't need to have the IT. You don't need to have a big IT investment. Any questions so far about Justice Tech Prosecution? Here are the topics that we're going to be discussing today, and we want this to be informal. So if you have any questions along the way, please ask them. What we're going to do is we're going to go through each one of these topics, and our panelists, we're going to have a panelist kind of describe how they use the solution with these different areas. So we've got true filing. This is law enforcement. LEAP stands for Law Enforcement Agency Portal. That's going to be the first topic. We've got document capture, how all the documents get captured in the solution. The screening requests, prosecution requests review. Document workflow, rules, and alerts, and we're going to talk all about that. Electronic discoveries, subpoenas. So we got so much information. Let me have the panelists introduce themselves, and then we'll get started. So if there's any questions, let's go. Lisa, let's start off with you.
I'm Lisa McCormick. I am the Chief Assistant at the Ingham County Prosecutor's Office.
My name is Bill Nichols, elected prosecutor from Monroe County.
I am Kelly Johnson with MSU Police Department. I'm the court officer.
Okay, sounds good. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Kelly give us a brief overview on how she uses True Filing LEAP.
Our process, we still do paper. We're not a paperless department. And we only do paper on cases that are open. So officers, and the sergeants work together in putting together like a report jacket still on open cases or cases with suspects. And then I eventually will get that packet. The officers do the lean work. I have a desk scanner. I have a desktop. So I scan everything onto my desktop and then transfer it into e-filing. If the report, which most of them are in RMS, I do have to save that to my desktop and then transfer it into True Filing. The other component we use is the subpoenas. I get subpoenas electronically from the Ingham County Prosecutor's Office. My process is I print them off, and I also email the officers or people that live on campus. We serve their subpoenas as well. And the other component is when the Ingham County Prosecutor denies a warrant, then we get that through the portal, and I'm able to share that with the officers through email. And also I document it in our RMS report writing system on like the status of each case. I also, when the Ingham County Prosecutor needs follow-up on cases, that's all done through the portal as well. They send me the message, and then I relay that to the officers or the detectives to do that follow-up.
Very good. Kelly, how has communication improved between your agency and the prosecutor's office using True Filing LEAP?
Excellent. It's in a timely manner. Everything's dated and it's timed, and there's accountability for it as well.
And also, at least in Ingham County, we faced major budget cuts, as I'm sure everyone did. So we stopped giving out information. We stopped telling why cases were denied. We stopped giving disposition information. We stopped that whole entire process. And when the agencies had so much problems with why, because they weren't getting the information, they couldn't close out their cases, they couldn't dispose of the evidence, I went down to Monroe County and saw what Bill was doing, and so then we decided this was the way to solve that communication problem with the law enforcement agencies. We didn't have the people to do it anymore, but this system allows us to communicate electronically without having a person go back and forth on that.
Next topic, we're going to go to document capture, and Lisa is going to help us understand how they capture documents at Ingham County.
Now I have to give kudos to Renee here because she's the reason why document capture works so well, but this is my favorite thing. And so all your ACT type documents that are in ACT or JCT are mapped. And so you just put a code at the very top of those documents that no one will be the wiser as to what it is, and it just automatically goes into OnBase. So you don't have to name it. All your complaints come into OnBase as complaints, warrants come as warrants. Anything that you run out of ACT, you can set up to automatically go to OnBase with just a print driver. And so it is a very simple process, and you save all the indexing that you have to do in the regular OnBase system from the scanning. And so it works really well. We've had much success with it, and it's a much easier way to get the packets in. And I think the huge benefit for me with such a big office, because we manage about 10,000 cases a year, is that you can't misindex. That you just minimized all your mistakes, because when you're running the complaint, it grabs the CTN automatically and it's going into the correct file. So you never have a situation where something is misindexed. So from that benefit standpoint, it was a great idea, and that's really how we use the document capture software. The other thing too is that way the packets can go electronically. So the system reads whether it's a misdemeanor or a felony, and the packets go up electronically. So that way Kelly gets the right documents that she needs for the court when she's swearing to the warrants. So the document capture, you can really set it up however you want, whatever documents you want. It just depends which ones you use at your office. We have discovery requests we use it for, anything we run out of ACT, witness lists, subpoenas, and the subpoenas have been a huge benefit as well. Because if you notice back on the LEAP screen, you also have a spot for subpoenas. So when the clerk runs our subpoenas through ACT, the personal service LEAP subpoenas are automatically recognized by the software, and it automatically goes up to the portal. Then the officer can just respond electronically back. And there's an e-form that gets created, and it automatically tells you if your witnesses are served. So one button you hit, you don't have to go through every subpoena. Like on a murder case, when you have 40 and 50 and 60 subpoenas, you can just look and see who's been served and who hasn't. And the mailers work the same way. It's a more manual operation for us, but when the mailers come back, we update that e-form too. So the APAs can just click on a button and know who's going to show up for court. And so those efficiencies have really helped our office, because half the time the old-fashioned subpoenas never even made it into the file. They were in the wastebasket because the court case was already over. So I think from the document capture standpoint, we've done really well. Now, court communication, we don't get court communication. We just go through JIS. We don't get any notices anymore. With all the budget cuts, the court has alleviated all of that. We don't have right now, I know we're on the list with Pam to get the reverse court communication, and once we get that, it will be better. But right now, we don't receive any paper notices from the court. We have to look everything up in JIS. So, but it scrapes over to OnBase for us.
If I could follow up on that just for a minute. The goal really is to minimize scanning and manual indexing. And when we started looking for a solution back in 2006 or 2007, the first solution we saw, the quote, the electronic file, there was all this paper that was then scanned in and indexed, and then it was just in the system. And with the tagging, and again, I give credit to Renee here, not only the ACT, JCT documents, Word documents, with that little 3-character tag, once you produce that in ACT, for instance, or a Word document, it automatically comes into the system. It's virtual printed, and it's indexed, and it's right in the case file. So it's a huge saving. You don't have to print out a document, scan it, and index it. That's a big savings. And then the last thing would be on the court communications. Joe Schuler from PAC-PAM is here. We have in Monroe, we're fortunate to have district and circuit court communication. So what happens is, at night, all those court notices come into our office, and ImageSoft has created an electronic notice form. It looks similar to the notice to appear that you see in paper, and it will come into the particular queue as to who has to work on that document. So if it's a pretrial for district court, they look at it, they might not have to do anything, they just complete it and they're done. If it's a trial, then subpoenas need to be done. So that's the driving document that's automatically created when that electronic information comes over from the court. So that's been a big advantage in Monroe. And and I know, I think the goal is to push court communications to other counties. I think St. Clair's on the list, as is Ingham.
We decided that we were not, we have a record retention policy for our hard files, but we decided that it was more important to keep the files for further use down the road. Like, so for 404B, we didn't want to have to try to get back with the police agency to try to locate the files. So that's really up to you. You can set it up, but we have it set up for lien. So every time we close a file out, lien goes into a holding category for the appeal process. Because you're not supposed to keep the lien. Of course, we've all kept it in the files for a long time, but you're not supposed to. And so the lien we are deleting after the appeal process, because we figured we could always rerun that to comply with lien rules. But no. When the clerk closes the file, it automatically goes to a lien queue and it just sits there. If for some reason the case gets appealed, it changes the status to appealed and the lien stops ticking, so you hold on to it. Or if the case gets reissued or whatever the reasons are, we've set it up. And you can set it up however you want, but that has really allowed us to comply with lien. But we as an office has just decided, my boss did not want to be deleting cases, because if issues came up down the road, we'd have a record of what we did, and that was the whole point of going to the imaging system to begin with. So we have sort of just decided we're holding on to everything except for the lien, which is just a decision that each office would make. I don't know what Bill did.
Sounds good. So the idea then, again, is to minimize the scanning and manual indexing of documents. So the next topic is the prosecution request review, and that's something that Bill's going to walk us through, how Monroe County uses this.
Sure, thanks, Steve. One of the, I think the big benefits of the system, and there are different pieces of it, but one of the pieces would be the initial prosecution review. I mean, all prosecutors do that, and the documents come in a packet. So the police report, other evidence documents, the CCH or the SOS come in to a particular queue, and we have it set up where it goes to a warrant secretary, then to assign to a particular prosecutor. You can set it up different ways, but what's a benefit of the system is the system in ACT in Lansing, the adult case tracking system, where before the warrant secretary would have to manually enter that data into the system. Now there's an integration with ACT where she just hits a task with a click and it sends all that data, the defendant information, the case information, to ACT, the victim information, the witness information, the charging information to ACT, and it automatically populates ACT. So where before, I know Renee's a juvenile secretary in St. Clair, it would take a great deal of time to enter that data. Now with just a click, that data is entered. It then is assigned to a prosecutor, and we have different decisions in Monroe. We've got authorize, deny, divert, or follow-up. And if, for instance, if deny is selected, we have certain drop-down language that pops up. We'd hit deny, we'd hit the pop-up language, insert that just by a click, and then send. And that automatically sends that decision to law enforcement. They get the prosecutor who made that decision, the time and date that they made that decision, and you know, they may have some questions, generally not, but it instantly sends that to them, and it logs it in our case file. The same thing with follow-up. We have a follow-up button with certain canned requests. There's also a free-form field where you can request certain information from law enforcement to follow up. And another nice feature of the system, it has alerts. We've set those up for 30 days and 60 days. In the old days, what we did is if we send a piece of paper, we put it in a bin, the court officer would come and pick it up, they'd run back to the agency, they'd have to distribute it, and maybe we'd get a supplement, maybe not. We'd put those files in a file cabinet, and the office manager supposedly would check that 30 days and 60 days and put second request or third request on there, and if we didn't get anything by the third request, maybe that'd go back to the prosecutor to make a telephone call. Now the system automatically, if it doesn't have anything, enter the system within 30 days on that case. As far as the supplemental report, it sends the exact same message to law enforcement. And then after 60 days, it sends a message, but it also refers it back to the prosecutor in his queue. So that automated feature really has been helpful. And redaction, oh, I'm sorry.
No,
So those are the charging decisions that we make if we authorize it. Another great feature is the electronic warrant manual that PAC-PAM has. It's integrated in the system. So it pops up and the prosecutor can either enter in a keyword, larceny, or they can hit different drop downs and it populates that exact warrant manual on the screen. So the prosecutor then would just fill in the blanks. For instance, assault and battery, you fill in the victim's name, Joe Smith. You hit authorize, it sends it to the warrant secretary. She produces the warrant packet in ACT. It automatically indexes into the system, populates the complaint back to the prosecutor. They use TrueSign to sign it. It goes to another queue, and then they send that electronically to law enforcement. So this is one of the really good features, I think, of the system. A lot of automated process here. Enhances communication and reduces data dual entry.
So anything else? We're going to move on to the next one. We've got lots of topics to cover. Document workflow. This is something Renee's going to help us understand how St. Clair County is using day 2 workflow processing.
So the inbox is just pretty much the pile of papers that's on your desk right now. So you, instead of having it sitting on your desk, having it sitting in your workflow. And it has a little number so you can keep tabs on how much you have in your box to do and things too, which is nice. And that's also how you can pass the documents on to other people. You can route them on, or you can complete them if you're done with them. And completing them doesn't remove the document from OnBase or anything. All it does is just takes it out of your box. So it's like putting it back in your file wall. Then the routing rules, you mentioned some too. We have some routing rules for supplements. So any supplement that comes in, and say the prosecutor already has the case under review. So they don't have to receive the supplement as well because they already have the case. So then it's just taken out of the system. Well, it's taken out of the workflow area, but it's still given right to the prosecutor. And then for further investigation cases where we've requested more information, it'll just take the case and put it right back to the prosecutor automatically without us having to do it, so that they can follow through with it. And then we also have them for defense requests. So appearances, they automatically go right to the juvenile court secretary, which is me, the circuit court secretary, the district court secretary. And citations, we don't handle the same way as other counties do. I think we all have different practices for citations. Do you automatically put them through though, right?
We're just starting electronically to grab them from the district court, and we've just started that process.
And we also have special rules for notices as well, which he mentioned, but we do some extra things too. We have special units in our office for criminal sexual conduct cases, drug task force cases, and traffic crash cases. So those automatically go to our victims' rights office and to the prosecutor. So everything is not missed. It's in all the areas at the same time, because everybody can be in the document at the same time, which really helps a lot too. So there's no hiccups in somebody holding up your documents.
Very, very nice. Now we have, in the product, we got 60 built-in pre-configured rules. And when we go through the 1 day or so on-site discovery, you can tell us which ones you'd like to turn off and on. And I think Monroe's running them all right now, and St. Clair County wanted to kind of ease their way into it. Okay? I just want to, any other questions about the importance of, so routing rules, that's going to eliminate and minimize those manual steps of somebody having to move and route the documents around.
Steve, if I can just add, sorry.
Go ahead, no, go ahead,
But
Lisa.
one of the routing rules that we use for victim witness is when a subpoena is unserved and Kelly sends it to us unserved, we automatically goes to the victim witness unit by an alpha split, and then they're responsible for trying to track down the victim, or if they've got a new address, and they can update the process too to make it served. So if they find the victim at work and they can fax the subpoena, that's like a perfect example of a routing rule that just takes the steps out of it for everyone. It automatically goes to the victim witness person who's handling that case to update the file to find out where the person is. So
Another example would be on a supplemental report. In a paper world, you'd have a paper file. Our office, an officer would do a supplemental report. They'd make 2 copies at their agency. They'd have the court officer run it over. They'd sit it in our bin. Our secretary would pick it up, go look for the file. Hopefully they found it, paper clip it to the file, give it to the prosecutor. In our world, we have vertical prosecutors in circuit court, put it on their desk to read it, and then it would go back in discovery and all those type of actions that would need to be done. In the electronic world, when that officer does a supplemental report, from his agency in his RMS or using LEAP, when they hit a submit, the system knows that it goes directly to the inbox of that vertical prosecutor. So when you walk in the morning and you see 3 documents in your inbox and you click inbox, there's that supplemental report. You read it. Once you're done reading it, there's a pop-up that pops up, send to discovery, yes or no. And on those, obviously, you hit yes. It then sends that document to our discovery queue, where a secretary then redacts that document if necessary and then sends it out via electronic discovery. So routing rules are really important. When you get the system like St. Clair, you know, there's advantages, and the more you have, obviously, the documents are going to be specifically going to one particular place. So if you want that, great. If you want to ease into it and manually route them, you can do that as well.
The next topic Lisa's going to help us better understand is electronic discovery and how that's working for Ingham County.
Okay, so discovery is like my pet peeve as chief assistant, and I want to make sure all our discovery goes out. There should never be a question as to what's going in and out of our office. Back in the paper world, we used to have this little 4x7 piece of paper that had police report, and you would just check it. I mean, you would not even know what we turned over. And so we'd always get complaints. We didn't get this, we didn't get that, we need an adjournment because of this. We have put all of those issues to bed. So with this electronic discovery, because not only do we send the discovery, we get an exact replicate of what was sent to the defense attorney that's in our file automatically. It's a government certified document, so the APA can look at it and say, no, you got 10 pages. It says it right here. I have exactly what was sent to you. Because they get an email notification that the discovery documents are there. And one of the things, since I'm so incredibly anal, is I got CC'd on all the discovery that the defense gets. So if they ever question what they got, I can go back into my email and say, nope, this is exactly what they got, Judge. This is what they received, and this is exactly, and let's open it up for you. And so I even have gone a step further to be carbon copied on everything that the defense attorney gets. Now, granted, it's blowing up my email, but it's another protection that's available so that I know that the email's gone out. Everything is certified, so there's no way anyone could edit the documents. It is just a full proof, you have proof that that went out. The other really nice feature is on the keyword box. If you use the keyword box, you have the defendant's name and the CTN. Now it says discovery was sent, the email address, the date and time it was sent. And then every time you send discovery if you resend that police report, it gets updated again that it was sent. If they change attorneys, you resend all the discovery, then you can see you sent it to defense attorney A, then 4 weeks later you sent the same document to defense attorney B. There's no way that anyone could ever say that you didn't turn over discovery, and the APAs have a very easy way to look to make sure all the discovery went out before trial. So it is just excellent from the standpoint of not only protecting your office, but protecting the APAs that are in court on any given day to know, yes, no, you got it, this is the date it was sent, it's all documented.
Sounds good. And I'm just going to bring up a quick example of what a discovery document looks like coming from the prosecutor's office. This is the cover sheet. You can see it works with your different rich media type formats.
Those weren't my glasses, by the way.
Works with audio, video if it's a common format. Here's a redacted police report and a signature of electronic signature of a complaint coming up here. This next, right there.
And you can just highlight all the documents in your work folder that you want to send and drag and drop into the discovery box, and it goes. So it's a very user-friendly process like that, and then you just use the task to send the discovery. One of the issues that we all have is this great idea of in-car cameras and all this type of, Macy's has bank film, Macy's has bank film, all that stuff that you really can't email. It's not caught up. That technology is not caught up that you can email it out of your office. So what we do is we have a checkbox that we use. So if there's discs that need to be picked up at the office, a notice goes to the defense attorney in this electronic filing saying, hey, there's stuff here at the office we can't send you, come pick it up. And so I've had attorneys try to say, oh, I didn't know. And I'm like, no, it's in bold, it's right here. And so one attorney told me, oh, well, I guess I'm blind. I'm like, well, I can't help you with that. But I think the bottom line is we have everything covered. And so if they have to come pick at the office, you just click a box. You want them to come pick stuff up, or you don't.
Sounds good.
So,
Stephen, just one more comment on that, if I could, Lisa. The way our secretary does it, and I think Ingham does it as well, you don't see a screen here, but the case report e-form has a box for the P number for the attorney. So what our secretary does when she's sending out discovery, the first step is type in the P number, hit lookup. That populates the case report e-form with the defense attorney's name, firm number, address, and email. And then on this screen, through redaction, we have purple public. You can't see them because they're highlighted in blue, but anything that's highlighted in purple are your public documents that have been redacted or that need to be sent. So they select those, they hit a right click, they drop and drag it, and you see that little fishhook there, and they drop it on that top task, and they let it go. So literally in less than 60 seconds, you can send all the discovery out with an email on that, with verification that you sent it. So that's another really efficient part of the program.
And it also allows for CCing of the email. So a lot of the defense lawyers want their secretary to get it too. So it's going to 2 places. So you can send it to more than one person.
The next really high value feature is electronic subpoenas, and Bill is going to walk us through electronic subpoenas.
With subpoenas, our staff prepares those as they did in ACT, and they virtual print those into the system. They're automatically indexed into the system. And what happens when that process occurs, a subpoena status report pops up, and in this case, it looks like there were just 2 witnesses for a district court preliminary examination. And that status will be either personal or mailer based on the type of subpoena, and then the status will start as no. What happens when law enforcement actually serves that, and I've talked to Captain Ortolano from the Monroe County Sheriff's Department, this is one of the features that law enforcement really likes because they're able to, they have a queue in law enforcement, and they're able to assign those subpoenas based on part of the county or region of the county or where the patrol vehicles are, north, south, east, west. So you might have one case, you could have 4 witnesses, but they might be all across the county, where before they might assign that to one officer and take part of the day to do that. Now they can assign it to 4 different officers. And they also can print the subpoenas in the car. When they do that, they update. They have certain tasks that they just select, served or not served, or free form field where they can type in, not at home or out of state or whatever message you're going to type in. What's nice about the system is, as you can see in the bottom, looks like Deputy Berman did not serve that on May 20th. Individual was out of state, needs a mailer. So what is good for the prosecutor when they get into court, if you're there a couple days before a hearing or a trial, you're able to tell the judge, yes, all our witnesses are served or not. And by clicking that subpoena button right underneath the subpoena status report, when you click that, you'll see the actual number of subpoenas in a particular case. So if you click that button in this case, you'd see 2 lines, one for Deputy Raymond and one for Clevenger, and then you could click on that line. It would actually show the subpoena with the attempts of service. So when we go in, a judge might ask on Monday, are you ready for trial on Wednesday? We're able to go in with a laptop, hit that subpoena status report and say, Judge, 10 witnesses all served, or Judge, 8 witnesses, 2 aren't, but we made 8 attempts on this one particular witness. So it's, that's another great feature that law enforcement likes, makes them more efficient, and improves the communication back and forth. Last thing I'll say is, in the old days, I hate to say this, we'd go into court on a case, and I don't know, Lisa.
We all did.
But we'd have 10 witnesses subpoenaed. We might have 5 returns back, and the other 5 we'd have to tell the judge, Judge, we don't really know if they're served or not. Well, you've got to 4 o'clock today to let me know, or else I'll call off the jury. Then we have to go back in and scramble around and call law enforcement. This is instant communication back and forth, so really improves that process.
Very, very good. Any questions about electronic subpoenas? This process does support both personal and mailer subpoenas. Next on our list is docket management, and this is another Renee innovation. Thank you, Renee. Take it away.
The docket management is one of the best time savers in your office because usually it takes you hours or days to pull a docket. And now all you have to do is pull up your docket in the court management system, click it, and it pulls out your docket for you. That's all it is, just a click, instead of hunting for files forever and ever and ever. And different people have different filters. We have filters by judge because we just assign our prosecutors by judge. You have them by different charges, correct?
We have them by judge, I believe.
Okay. You can also do it by certain units that you have, and you can filter it that way. We just have all of our judges and all of our cases all combined for Monday through Friday. Each separate day, but all the judges are all on one day. So that way, if somebody has to fill in for somebody else, they can easily go grab their docket and do their cases for them.
Our staff really likes this. In the old days, I mean, I don't know what it was like in other counties, but you know, if there's a 50-file docket, I mean, maybe 35 of them are where they should be, and the other 15 are, you know, on an APA's desk or victim witness or chief assistant or subpoena secretary. What's good about this system is when we pull up JIS, the green screen there, you click that screen, you pull up the court calendar, and you hit Alt-X. Alt-X will pull every case that's on that screen instantaneously into the system. And we have routing rules like St. Clair and Ingham. For instance, the bottom one here, it says a district court docket event. If the event type is not a sentence or arraignment, we don't appear in those in district court. If it's Judge Bronson, and there's our misdemeanor suffixes, then assigned to our district court APA number 1. So that would come into, for instance, so you've got Friday 19 cases. Once you hit Alt-X, all those cases would go to that particular district court attorney assigned to that particular judge. So you can pull a docket probably in 60 seconds versus the time it used to take.
And like you said, there are some exceptions, like there's some events you don't go to. So those don't have to come in your system, but you have some events, like we just have some that are like general, just formal hearings, and we don't know exactly what they're for. It's just what the court coded it as. So then we have those go into a review queue, so the secretary can go through those and see which ones we are going to go to and which ones we aren't going to. So that way we can put the right ones on the docket and not filling it up with extra things that we don't even go to.
We are like out of time because the next session starts in 5 minutes, but we've got other things to talk about. A big round of applause for our panel of experts. Aren't they awesome?